Hello. Welcome back to the Two Sets of Hands podcast. We're in rare form, as I often say, live on Twitch. It's on my personal channel. I just happened to be live when I needed to record this. What all convinced me to record this is I recently rewatched some of my crazier pulls, like my crazy videos. There's a playlist on the channel if you want to check it out. I think I can link it in the description below. This is going to be super raw, one take, everything's live. So if anything seems a little out of place, that might be why. But I just wanted to kind of talk about how significantly my interests have shifted, what this hobby means to me now as compared to what I thought it meant to me before, and briefly give you a super fast synopsis of when Cade and I went and found my cards. I think we did talk about it already on the channel, but so let's start kind of at the beginning. Like I said, this is the super duper short version. I found all of my old cards in the middle of the night at my mother's house, and Cade and I stayed up all night pricing them. After that, I recorded an episode of a podcast that I used to run called the Mellow Mood Podcast. Shameless plug. And my first guest was who I consider a son to me, Dylan Gieselman. And when he came to record the podcast, I thought to myself, I thought, I wonder what they're like now, what Pokemon cards are like now. So I innocently went to my local Walmart and I tried to find anything with Pokemon in it, and I literally had to ask Cade what product to buy because I know that theme decks don't have packs in it. I don't know if I knew it then, but I had no idea what to buy, and ultimately in the toy section of that Walmart, I found the Kanto Mini Tins, the ones that are about that big, and they had all the freaking Kanto Pokemon on it, which is crazy in the first place. And I cracked it, and it had Crimson Invasion and Evolutions, and the first pack I opened was Evolutions, I think. And I pulled the Gold Mega Venusaur, and it was over. I saw the texture on the card, and it was like fulfilling a childhood dream. What I knew Pokemon could always be, because the just like a regular card, like how these look, it was never what I knew the potential of the hobby could be. I didn't know it could be like a whole card printed. I never would have imagined it could have went to that extreme. But basically, from that point forward, I knew like I wanted to try and get into this and have some fun with it. So, I mean, long story short, I went and bought all of it at Walmart, all the little Kanto Mini Tins, because that's all I knew, and I didn't know that they had stuff up by the register and all that. All I knew was I found some in the toys, and that was all I saw, and I bought all of them. I cracked all of them, and I lost a bunch of money on it, but I had the absolute time of my life opening them. And that was over a year ago, about a year and 3 months ago, maybe, something like that. And from that point forward, I just continued recording. And the way my I guess I could say my business model, so to speak, for lack of a better word, was crack packs, enjoy the experience, sell the pulls, and be self-sufficient. So that way I can make a little bit of money and spend that money back into the ecosystem of Pokemon and always have cards coming and going. So that way I'm always getting something new, It's self-sufficient, which I later found out is almost completely impossible. And another thing I want to mention is when I started my little eBay store and I started selling cards on there, everyone around me kind of scoffed at me. Everybody, when I said, yeah, I'm selling Pokemon cards, man, making a little bit of extra cash on the side, which was not totally true. I guess it wasn't false, but I wasn't really making money. I was losing money and then recouping some of my losses. I told everybody how excited I was, how busy I was. Like when I first opened that store, no exaggeration, there were days that I sold 40 cards at one time. So, and you got like 2 to 3 days to ship them, and then the next day I'd sell like 20 to 30 more. There was a week I sold probably over 100 cards, 120 cards, and the reason is because when I started, I had this huge mound of cards I knew I wanted to sell. I just didn't know the outlet that I wanted to use to sell said cards, and I chose eBay just because I buy off of eBay almost exclusively, so I knew that I could trust their system, which I have in recent time found out is simply not the truth. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that because everyone was hating on me for trying to sell cards, and then the hobby exploded, and now the Pokemon Center doesn't even have any cards that you can buy pretty much. It's crazy, bro. Like, if you're going to try and get cards, you might as well go on and gamble and try and get them on eBay, or check every retailer you got, because a lot of these retailers now have limitations on like what you can and can't buy and stuff. But anyways, I wanted to show you guys. I am ashamed that I said this in such a legendary video of the channel, in the lore of this channel. This is like some top tier lore, especially at the time. But I wanted to show you guys where all this came from. You're going to see a weird transition because I'm about to pull it up right now. And here it is. I really am so hesitant to do this, but in order to grow, I need to acknowledge my mistakes and how my heart has changed. And here it is. This is one of my least favorite things I have literally ever said. Here you go. Let's do it. Turn it up just a little bit. And hollow. Once again, if you guys end up getting a hold of some Champions Path, do not open it. Resell it straight up. Because I'm trying to make this pack this special pack. Champions Path packs go for $13 a piece, so you can buy an ETB for $50 and resell all the packs out of it for $130, and keep the Zard promo, which is about $25. I see the shimmer of a little something. So, anyways, I hate that so much. For so many different reasons. One, I am basically acknowledging and encouraging scalping on a passion project of mine that I have had for over a year now. And I wanted to talk about all this because I feel like a lot of people, when they either get back into the hobby or they are initially getting into the hobby, their first thought is making money off of it. Because someone that doesn't know anything about Pokemon probably looks up the eBay prices of a base set Charizard, or just types in Pokemon onto eBay, and you see all these listings for millions of dollars sometimes, hundreds of thousands of dollars often. And people want to profit off of it. And initially, the way that I handled the collection that I found, I sold Cade almost all of it. And in a way, I regret it because I do kind of wish that I still had those cards in my possession. In a way, I don't, because I feel like Cade loves those cards more than I ever would again. Of course, the cards that I held on to especially hard, like the Misty's Gyarados and my base set Charizard, that stuff. I tried to hold on to as many of those as I could. I'm gonna talk about a couple of my hardest losses that I had to, but I made money off of it, and then I took that money and bought modern packs, and then I sold the cards that I pulled out of the modern packs to try and buy more, which ultimately ended in me buying all these tins over here that you see. You can kind of see with the gigantic Pikachu on it. Hidden Fates, we bought a case of the tins, trying to pull that Charizard. And had I pulled it at that time, I would have sold that Charizard, which makes me grateful that I didn't pull it at that time. But it's not what it's about. And I see it now, and it makes me so disappointed because I had my mind made up that it's healthy for that ecosystem to work, for the hobby itself to thrive. People have got to pass product around for profit, and it simply isn't the truth. The truth is, if you like a card, keep it. And luckily, this was the pivotal moment pretty much where I pulled a card and I loved it so much, and the experience meant so much to me that I couldn't bring myself to sell it. And now I'm paying the price for it, quite literally, in the midst of this talk about finance in a children's trading card game. I made a mistake by holding it, but I feel absolutely no regret because my interest has shifted from just being a bully about everything to trying to be healthy, trying to be more healthy as a collector, as an ambassador of the hobby and the community. And had I sold that when I pulled that card, I could have made $2,000 then and there. Granted, someone was willing to pay it, but that's what the market was on it. Technically, I had this ETB before release. Before release, had I opened it, I tried to wait because I wanted to open it on release as kind of like a celebration of the set coming out. That was the second ETB I opened, a Champion's Path, of I think 6 total. And had I sold it, or had I pulled it and sold it when I bought it that night, I could have made $10,000 on that card. And that's why I called my mom after I stopped recording that video and cried on the phone with her. Because I literally, I chased this freaking Hidden Fates Charizard. I chased it. We spent $1,000 on a case of tins. Like, I sold every single card that I owned so that I could buy that case of Hidden Fates tins. And we opened it and we didn't even pull the effing Charizard. Like, what was the point? Like, what was the point of all that work? I was basically working like 18-hour days. Like, every day of the week. Like, all of my friendships, everything. If I was doing something, I was selling cards while I was doing it. Like, I had a clipboard, and I had the main reason that I even bought a PC in the first place, the original PC that got me inspired to come back to streaming, was so that I would have a consistent screen to sell cards off of. And then everything just, like, I bought those tins, and I met the community, and I had people coming in and out of my house like 6 hours a day 7 days a week. There was always somebody in my house. There are people I didn't know that came into my house. Now thinking about it, what was I thinking? This like super buff, I don't even remember his name. I wish I could remember it. I think it was Aaron something. Him and his brother came in, and they're both like the biggest dudes I ever seen in my life. They came in here, they looked through my collection, got the cars that they needed for their set, and left. And it's all because of the hype around that shiny Charizard that I pulled. It's just crazy. Like, crazy. But one of the things that I want to talk about, it doesn't really have anything to do with this general subject. It's back to this video. Sorry, this is the true me coming out. I can't just leave it alone. Bro, I'm going to tell you guys a secret. For real. This right here, this screen that you're looking at with all the waves and all this crap, is the same camera that you're looking at right there. With the depth of field behind me, with everything fuzzy. That camera is the same camera that I duct taped to a pole and hung over the top of my desk. Look at how terrible this looks. Do you see how horrible this looks? It looks so bad. And the crazy thing is, the face camera, this camera right here that you're looking at, is this camera. That is the exact same camera as that. That is the same thing. How insane is that? And, you know, I tried to find, like, YouTube tutorials on how to make your camera look better and everything. And at the end of the day, I really couldn't come to very many conclusions about it. Because, like, a lot of the stuff, especially about this DSLR camera that I have, the one that you guys were just looking at, the super crisp one with the depth of field and all that fancy junk. The main thing is it's so confusing. There's so many settings and every camera is a little different. I literally just had faith in myself, and this isn't like humble bragging on myself or anything, but I knew in my brain, I knew that these cameras held much more potential, and I literally just kept going the way that it was and would from time to time try and play with the settings until I finally figured it out. That's no joke. And the funny thing is, I can sit here and every time that I turn this camera that I'm using on, the settings look the way that it used to. And the other thing is, like, look at the background. Like, look at how incomplete it was. It's just so crazy how far I've come. Like, I finally got that. And the funny thing is, like, almost all of the stuff in the background you can't even see. It's like one of those in-person kind of things. Like, even this little Nashville thing that's been in the background forever. Like, even that is super duper hard to find. Like, but anyways, I wanted to mostly talk about how disappointed I am in myself, how much my feelings have shifted away from the way that I used to look at that, because it's just not the way that it's supposed to be. And if you see it that way, I don't know that I could say that you are objectively wrong for seeing it that way, but I do think that it is worth at least considering how much someone would love what you have the way that Cade loves mine. So, couple of little things from my old collection. This is for all the legit Pokemon nerds out there. My most regretted card that I sold to Cade was Misty's Gyarados, which I have reclaimed. Luckily, Cade is family, and he's not getting rid of any of that stuff, so he let me get that back. My biggest regret that I sold, and I don't know if I can really say it's a regret sort of thing, because I benefited in the end. Like, I won big on it. a dude wanted my Giovanni's Nidoking, and it still is one of my favorite cards of all time. It just reminds me of my childhood, which is so important to me because I'm a big old bucket of cheese. Like, I can't help it. And I traded him with some cash and like a couple other cards. But long story short, I traded him that Giovanni's Nidoking for some Charizards, one of which I ended up getting graded. Maybe two of which I ended up getting graded. The money value isn't really important for the sake of this conversation, but yeah, he got my Nidoking and a couple of other cards that I got off some folks. But biggest wins, I bought a couple of people's collections, and I got Latias Gold Star cooked, like totally cooked. The edge folded up, and a pretty scratched up Delta Species Charizard. I also got an Umbreon EX, all of which are secured. And the Umbreon EX is like the Unseen Forces Umbreon. So, I mean, it's legit. It is a legit Umbreon. I think those are like the super heavy hitters. Of course, I've bought some cards off of folks. I would argue the biggest win for me is my favorite card of all time. I finally got the alternate art Latias where they're kissing or whatever. Oh, such a good card. Still my favorite card of all time. Probably always will be from this point forward. It used to be base set Zapdos, weirdly enough. I love the Mew EX from Radiant Collection. But a lot of the cards from Hidden Fates people seem to be quite fond of. I think the Charizard mostly because of its price, because it still is super expensive. And I can't believe how bad Hidden Fates is fluctuating. Bro, I can literally remember Cade telling me Hidden Fates was the gas. I needed to get it. And I didn't have that much money for real. And I was in Walmart and I was like, screw it. I'll just buy all of it. And I bought like 4 Gyarados boxes and they like changed my life. And from that point forward, we, amongst our group of friends, we came to the conclusion that we were on the hunt for that Hidden Fates Charizard. And I said to the group, I said, why don't we document our process? Like, why don't we record ourselves doing it? Which is where the notorious 2 Sets of Hands video came from, where we opened the case of Hidden Fates tins, which was so much fun. Still to the day, I guess in hindsight, I can't believe it. That is not our most expensive video anymore. I cannot believe it. But yeah, here. That is that's the case of Hidden Fates.
We just opened up 3 cases.
That is so much Hidden Fates, dude. Love the Pokeball in the middle for aesthetic. Like, just saying. And that camera right there is the face cam that you were just looking at. Same camera. See how terrible it looks? This is the most fun I probably ever had opening Pokemon cards. We pulled like 2 Leafeons. We pulled an Umbreon. We pulled every single card other than the one that we were looking for, which ultimately benefited us because we then continued opening product, specifically trying to open Hidden Fates and documenting our process of which, we went about it. So it's just like so crazy that everything happened for a reason and all those cards are gone. Cade benefited more than anybody in that period of our lives because Cade got all of the cards, bro. Like, Cade's got every Hidden Fates card other than Charizard, I'm pretty sure now. I'm just so jealous because he bought the Umbreon for $30. He bought the Ho-Oh for 15. Like, I just remember all the cars being so cheap. The Charmander was $3. Scyther was $7, I think, which is insane when you think about it. Why? But it's just insane because when we bought them, they were at the all-time, like, absolute all-time low, right? And then they spiked super hard, like super duper hard. That Umbreon went from being $30. I watched it go from 70 to 130, I think. I know it for sure went to 120. Went from 30 to 120. I watched it. And I cashed out on my last Umbreon. I pulled 3 of them. And that last one I cashed out on, I got 150 for it in trade. And I'm going to address me talking about money, don't worry. But then after I sold it, which this was probably maybe 10 months ago, something like that. Maybe 9 months, something like that. After I sold it, it rose and it peaked and then it tanked. It dropped all the way back down to 80, I think, after like maybe 2 months or something. And then it started going back up. And now it's like either at a steady decline or like right at a baseline, just dead. This is what it's going to be now. And I don't know why I'm using Umbreon as the example. And I'll give you an actual price on it. But it is important, if you're going to talk about Pokemon, to at least address how much cards are worth. It's at 121.19 right now. So that's, it's about where it was, but it's like if Hidden Fates is so exclusive and so hard to find, like, why is it only $120? Why would that card not be worth like $250 or something? And this new set that's about to come out is going to be off the chain. Absolutely off the chain. But I still have to acknowledge the market price on cards, not only for the situation when I get something that I know I don't necessarily want to keep, that I know somebody else is going to want. And if that's going to be the case, if you're going to try and sell a card that you definitely don't want to keep for your collection and that you don't want to hold on to for investment purposes, so to speak, then you need to get rid of it as soon as that set comes out if possible. And that's like the funnest part, not the actual selling of cards, but like seeing the prices at their absolute all-time high peaks, like that alternate art Urshifu, or Rapid Strike Urshifu from Battle Styles. When that set came out, for the first 2 to 3 days that set had first come out, that card was $354. I will never forget it. I could not understand. I have to believe it was because it looks like a freaking Dragon Ball Z card, I guess. But a question that I want to ask about Hidden Fates specifically is Hidden Fates really that good? Or is it because those cards play on nostalgia? Because I'm almost inclined to believe that Hidden Fates ain't that good, bro. Like, it probably is the funnest set. I don't know anymore though, and it may be because I'm so, like, I've consumed so much Hidden Fates product, which there's a really good chance that's the only reason I feel this way. And it's come quite recently, admittedly, but like when I used to open Hidden Fates, I got this buzz, this rush, like, this is the best thing I've ever experienced. And this was also peak me in opening Pokemon cards. Like, this was right after I got a hold of that Mega Venusaur, which, in case you're wondering, I did not sell. I still have that card. I will always have that card. It'll be just like my base set Charizard. I'm curious about the special delivery Charizard too, by the way. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if they're ever going to release this freaking card. And I also don't know if this special delivery Bidoof with the Charizard. Blah, 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 blah. Sorry. I just am like tripping about this special delivery Charizard because I need it. But I just don't know if it's going to be worth the hassle of getting a hold of it. But anyways, I find that Hidden Fates and Shining Fates kind of suffer the same fate. And no pun intended, I feel like no one's talking about it. I feel like everybody just gasses up Shining Fates and Hidden Fates. The trainers in Shining Fates almost make Shining Fates better to me. But of course, I'm never going to say that you can beat Kanto. Like, come on. You see my room, bro. It's just Kanto. Like, but I feel like you can only get that rush of pulling a shiny Decidueye, you know? I feel like you can only get that rush so much until it becomes jarring because they're all in that mid-price range. So it doesn't feel like you're pulling something spectacular. If you have a card that you really love and you continually pull it, like mine would be a shiny Scyther, I could pull an infinite amount of shiny Scythers, and I would always at least have that little bit of fondness for it because it's Scyther. That's my dog. You feel me? But I also found myself like passing up on Shining Fates ETBs somehow. Like I went through Barnes and Noble and they had an array of products. And at the time, Shining Fates had been out for a while, and they had reprinted it to death. But the only reason that I would want to buy it is to sit on it, because maybe in 20 years, it would pop off. It would be worth something. You know what I mean? But I definitely. I don't know. I don't think that they are as good as. Oh no, I don't know if I can say this out loud, bro, because I love Hidden Fate so much, so much. But I might like Team Up or Cosmic Eclipse better. Oh, I don't know if I can say that, bro. And it may be, I think it's important to acknowledge the amount of Hidden Fates that I opened versus the amount of Cosmic Eclipse that I opened. I feel like, no pun intended, Hidden Fates completely eclipses Cosmic Eclipse. Just in the amount that I opened. Mostly because Cosmic Eclipse was so available that I didn't think it was going to be something special or crazy or something like that. You know what I mean? So I passed on it a lot of the time. I got lucky and I was able to open one Cosmic Eclipse ETB and 2 Unbroken Bond ETBs. The craziest thing was there were 2 Ultra Ball collections and 1 Great Ball collection Hidden Fates boxes at Target in my city. And then I went to the GameStop in the same city and it had another Great Ball collection. I opened 4 of them. I don't even want to know how much they're worth anymore. It's a hard thing to really like talk about for real, because how can I say that I'm over like the money side of it and at the same time talk about the money side of it and I guess it's because I can appreciate how much something's raw value has risen. So knowing that I spent $99 and if I'd sat on it as $500, it's fun to talk about at least. But the elephant in the room is back there in the back. You can see it right there. That Dragon Majesty box. I don't know if I'll ever crack that. I'd be tempted to. if we hit like a super duper big marker on the channel, like if we broke, I say whenever if we get a plaque, if we get like one of those YouTube plaques, I might crack that. So GameStop had this stupid deal, and I've talked about it in videos, but probably videos no one will ever see, mostly because all our old videos are so dead. But GameStop had a deal where if you buy one, you get one 50% off, right? But on top of it, all Pokemon products were 30% off. So I knew I had drained our local GameStops, like within probably a 50 to 60 mile radius. So I knew that the closest place that I could go is Tallahassee, Florida. So I called out at work. Sorry, David. How you doing? Good to see you. Called out for Pokemon. Hate to tell you now. I called out, and I went to Tallahassee, and I bought a bunch of stuff. I found a Hidden Fates Ultra Ball there, which is crazy. I found some Hidden Fates tins. But most importantly, it was dead for the most part until my last two stops. At Target, I found the Hidden Fates Ultra Ball. And at that last GameStop in Tallahassee, this is when COVID first started too, I asked them, I said, you guys don't have any other product in the back, do you? Because all they had was the Mewtwo and Mew GX tins. I bought like probably 40 of them, and I wish I still had 40 more of them. I just love that promo. I say, you got anything in the back? Dude goes, yeah, hang on. So let me tell you this.
Yeah, so we had a guy come in, and he pre-ordered a bunch of these Dragon Majesty Ultra collections.
He did what now? And dude said that he didn't pay for them. So they've been sitting in the back of that store for probably a year, 2 years. He brought one out, and I was like, "Oh my God, it was like one of my top bucket list things to ever open was that Dragon Majesty Ultra the Ultra collection thing." And he brought one out, and he scanned it, and I said, "How much is it?" Because I had already ran through all of Tallahassee, Florida. I was running low, buddy. I had $80 left, and I still had to get gas on the way home. I hadn't eat, like my head was hurting. I was sick of it. And dude says $32. Buy one, get one at 80% off. I said, you got anything else I could get with this? Dude goes, hang on, let me look. Walks out with the second one, bro. Walks out with the second one so I could open one and keep one sealed. I paid $17 for that because this dude didn't pay it. Dragon Majesty is the one that has Rainbow Dragonite, Rainbow Kingdra. It's got the Dragon Majesty playmat, which it's back there. It must be the one on the top. Yeah, it is. It's the one on the top that you can't see in this angle. But yeah, it comes with the playmat, and then it comes with a little Dragonite figure, which I thought was bigger than this, but it's so tiny. But oh my goodness gracious! You want to talk about the biggest win ever? Like, I paid $17 for that. And then the craziest thing about all of this is, like, I bought that, came home, opened it, and 2 weeks later is when the whole thing exploded. That's when everybody got back into Pokemon. You can't find product anywhere, and it's cool again to have Pokemon, and the plushes are reselling for $100, and PSA can't even accept cards anymore. Like I had just snuck it in there, buddy. Can you imagine? Because even on the channel, and the thing that pisses me off is I literally opened it on my freaking cell phone, bro. Like, I'm so mad. I opened the Shining Legends Premium Collection box on my cell phone, bro. Are you kidding me, dude? And the saddest part of all, I even had to walk the card to the camera. I pull the there it is. I pull the Mewtwo, the Mewtube that everybody wants. And I'm having to show it to my cell phone, and it's like horribly miscut. Horribly miscut. I'm telling you, man. We really didn't know what we had. Because I think that at one point, the Hidden Fates 10s are reselling for like $90 a piece or something. And we paid like right at $30 a piece for them. Imagine I kept them sealed. Imagine tripling your profit. Imagine, but I've been saying it for probably a year now. I can't keep sealed product. And the only reason that I've got the Dragon Majesty back there is because, one, I opened one, and two, the best card in the set doesn't interest me. The best card. So what is the worst card in the set going to do? You know what I mean? Might as well throw it in the garbage. The only thing that I want to open it for, I say only thing, two things really. I wish that I could have the 3 gigantic ETBs, because for anybody that doesn't know, Super Premium Collection ETBs are like significantly larger. I think they hold 300 more cards if you're using them for bulk. I wish that I could have another set of those, and I kind of wish that I could have another Dragonite just for me to grade. Honestly, sorry, these allergies are killing me. If I wonder what if I had to put like my stamp on it for what the best gimmick is, and I mention this because Hidden Fates was notoriously known for the shinies and quote, shining cards. I wonder which one would be the best. I'm curious to know. Is it Level X, Delta Species, Prime, Shiny GX, Rainbow Rare? If I had to, and it may just be because it's like what's going on right now and I'm super excited about it. I think if I had to put my 2 sets of hands, Flip Page Cheese, Daddy Cheese stamp on it, I think I'd have to say alternate arts. Oh, hang on. Nobody panic. I just think that it shows a side of whatever character or Pokemon that you're looking at. I think it shows a side that you don't normally get to see. Like the one that just instantly pops in my head, aside from that Latias that I obviously love, is the Zoroark Greninja. Because the Zoroark Greninja, they're chilling in a tree, bro. Like, doesn't get much better than that. Sorry, I zoned out for a second because I hear something in my kitchen moving around, and it's freaking me out. I wonder if it's this little mouse that I've become quite fond of. I've named him Miles. I saw him walking across my floor one day. And he just looked up at me, just kept on about his business. I said, I don't know that I could kill Miles. That's my guy. But yeah, I'm curious what everybody thinks. Try, if you can, to not let nostalgia play a part in that decision. That's what I'm trying to do. And I just think art-wise, I think alternate arts are the new Rainbow Rare, I guess. I don't know. Because Rainbow Rare was the top of the mountain for it, boy. Let me tell you. I also am curious what what the best, like in general, Pokemon product. I obviously have an extremely large array. No flex, but I'm just saying, of everything, plushes. I don't know. I honestly want to say that the coolest thing to me, it's going to be tight. It's either going to be like a life-sized plush, because it's like the closest thing you'll probably ever get to like having a real frame of reference for like the actual size or quote-unquote like personality, so to speak, of the Pokemon that you love so much. And at the same time, I think that like statues or figures fully encapsulate what that Pokemon is. Like, the moment that I saw this, I just broke the thing off of Squirtle, but the moment that I saw this, I just thought to myself, I was like, bro, that's like everything that I want in a Pokemon product. But at the same time, I can't say that I wouldn't rather have like a full-sized, what's his name? Mareep, ain't that his name? The thing that Unlisted Leaf bought, that's life-size or whatever. I don't know what specifically made me bring that up anymore, because I keep hearing a mouse in my kitchen. I need to go yell at Miles, tell him to chill out. But yeah, I'm curious. What is the best Pokemon product to purchase? It's just a random thought in the midst of this whole conversation. But to wrap everything up in to wrap everything up in cool fashion, to come back to where we began, the what do they call it? The topic sentence, is that what it's called? I want to finish this conversation with a concrete statement, kind of thought, so to speak. While I do think that it is still important to acknowledge the prices of sealed product, of any sort of Pokemon product that you're interested in purchasing, I don't think that it is or ever will be the right thing to do to buy something with the absolute intention of profiting off of that product. If you are buying something, you should, in my opinion, be buying something to consume that product because it makes your life a little bit better. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And I hope that saying that, I hope that justifies how much I talk about how much a product is worth. Because one of the main draws of opening a pack of Pokemon cards is the idea of making money on that Pokemon card, of pulling the card, pulling that Charizard that we saw, pulling that $10,000 Charizard that I was itching for. That's a huge appeal of it. And that's also why people are willing to spend so much more than what they can pay retail for, is because you have the product that somebody wants. But if you're selling it to them, you are doing them a disservice if you are profiting off of that person's interest. And don't even get me started on talking about singles, because it's just a whole conversation trying to justify, like, if you buy a pack of cards, is it better if you pull that $10,000 Charizard? is it better to just sell it and try and get another one? Because you know that price is going to tank for quite some time. And my thought right now is, of course, I will never get rid of that specific Charizard, but I have since pulled no flex, relax, the shiny VMAX, and I've got the Hidden Fates one since, and that shiny V. My idea for like the shiny VMAX, because I don't have like a super interest in that card specifically. I love the idea of shiny VMAX Charizard. I love the idea of shiny Charizard in general, but I think I'm gonna at least sit on it to see what it'll do, because I need that card to justify the content that I created in the search of that card, if that makes any sense. I don't really know exactly what I'm trying to say with all that. I just know that there are some cards you want to sell, some cards that you don't want to sell, and I do think that that's okay. But I think that if you are going into the hobby with the thought, I want to make money off of this, I don't think you're in it for the right reason. I think there's a time and a place for Pokemon to be a cash cow, to make money. But I don't think that taking advantage of something that people genuinely give, I'm not going to say their life to, but give their heart to, I don't think that taking advantage of people like that is morally the right or healthy thing to do. And for the people that may feel as though I did that in the beginning of this, from the bottom of my heart, I am genuinely so sorry. I wish that I could do everything back the way that I see things now, with this beautiful background that I've built, this set piece in my living room, the studio that I now run a stream and all this crazy stuff out of. I owe it all to the experiences that I recorded on the Two Sets of Hands YouTube channel. I owe it all to it. So, with all that being said, I appreciate you guys hanging out. I'm sorry to everybody on the Twitch that's been trying to talk to me. I'm really sorry. I was trying to be professional this whole time. But with all that being said, hope you guys have a great morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. And I'll see you in the next one. Maybe I can get Cade to actually record one of these with me. But anyways, see you guys later. Mwah. Love you so much. Be happy. Be better.